Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-1. In our last episode, we got the Scopos television contract satellite going, so we should see these contracts complete soon. And we next had on our list to integrate the Earth Space High Perturbation Experiment, which is going to be the Locust 2. So let's go ahead and get that going here. Shouldn't be anything too difficult, because we already tried this whole thing out. So we just go into light satellites, Locust 2. Bada bing, bada boom. The unlock cost is 72,000. Why 72,000? Avionics. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna do the same thing I did before. And what, I have 12,975. And this will change it to 12,983. Oh, but I have to change this. Okay, so I lost like 70 delta V. But that should be okay. Maybe I make this a smidge longer. Yeah, I had a little bit of spare delta V before, but this should be fine. And this, well, I made that too much longer though. It went outside of the tooling cost. What is the tooling cost anyway? The Infor Avionics. What did I just tool for the other one? What? What did I tool for Locust 1? 1.7. Aha. There we go. There we go. Okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, I swear we just tooled that. Okay, so there, now our tooling cost is nice and low. We can get a little bit more delta V in this without incurring a tooling cost, and then we can get a little bit more delta V in this without incurring a tooling cost. Yeah, that's another 25 delta V. That should be plenty. Okay. Toggle that. Locust 2 is good to go. Go ahead and save this. And I am okay unlocking the LR. Well, am I? Hold on. Do I have any need for the NA5 versus the NA3? What's the difference here? Higher TWR, higher engine ISP. I think it's worth unlocking, to be honest. Higher burn time. Yeah, let's just do it. All right, and now what am I tooling? The fairing. So what did I already have tooled? 1.8 by what? 809 or 6? Basically 8.1 or 6.8 are the numbers I already have. So I could go shorter or longer. Okay, there we go. Why spend 1,000 units when you don't have to? In fact, how much extra size do we have here? Looks like we have quite a bit. Oh, and their density's not minimized because I still haven't done that. All right, if I close it, yeah, we can go a lot shorter here. Okay, Minimize all the things. No tooling. Lower salary. Sweet. Okay, simulate. No, I don't need to simulate. Save and launch. Sweet. Okay, so we've already got a mission being integrated. Now. Alright. What's next? Looks like we need to design something. Lunar Science Orbiter? Yeah. So the Lunar Science Orbiter needs... I mean, we're not going to be able to launch it for a while until June of 62. It was August before, but all the extra scientists have brought it back to June. So June of 62. And then... Well, I guess we have to design the... We're going to have to launch the lander first. Okay. Let's start designing a lander. So first thing to note with a lander is that there are Delta V maps on the RP-1 wiki. And so really I just need to find RSS Delta V map. So landing on the moon costs you about 1.7 thousand Delta V. On top of a low orbit. So the overall capture and land will cost about... Well, what is that? 0.73... Sorry, I'm just adding these numbers that are in front of me. 1.73 plus 0.68. I can write them out so I don't... Plus 0.68 plus 0.14 is everything. So that's the moon capture and then the low orbit. So this is capture, low orbit, land. And then the Earth escape part is 0.68 plus 2.44 on top of the 9.4 to get into orbit. So those are all the Delta V requirements. So put that all together and you get... What is that? 0.82... So 2.55 for the landing part, and this is 3.12. Okay. So the moon... Yeah, that makes sense because I just plugged in a apoapsis and periapsis of 0 and your speed is 1680. So it makes sense that this number here is pretty similar to that at 1730. So anyway, we're gonna need a lot of Delta V to land. And we'll have to figure out exactly what that looks like here. The Cobalt 3... might be what we want to use, but I don't know. Feels like it's a lot more inefficient than my current Locust model. So I'm thinking we might use the Locust idea. Yeah, that's got an AJ10 early. Oh, and a solid booster is not going to work at all for the final stage. So yeah, I think I want to design a whole new deal. For our moonlander. So let's go procedural probe core because they look cool. So that's step 1, looking cool. I could even use something like this if we really wanted it to look neato. What are my options here? Ooh. Whoa. Okay, these are neat. Oh, I think I found what I like. This thing is neat. Oh, that's neat too. What about these? Okay. We have all sorts of options. Let's go with... I really liked that tri-prism. This thing looks so cool. I want to land this on the moon. I'm doing it. Alright, and then the question is, do we need deep space? And the answer is yes. That's not even a question. Improved avionics. I don't know how heavy they need to be yet, but we'll go with 2 megajoules of power and 2 controllable tons. Can this not be resized? No, it can. I do think we probably want it to be a little bit bigger diameter, a little bit smaller V scale. Let's see. Let's try that. Okay, so there's our avionics. Now it has no contact with anything yet. Nose interstage? What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Part of me is tempted to take one of these little solid motors. But I mean, the obvious option is to mount some tanks. Maybe balloon tanks if I... No, that's way too expensive. But some high pressure tanks. When do I get high pressure refined aluminum gridded? Because that would be nice. Reduce that dry weight a little bit. Because that gets me 94% utilization, and the dry mass is 10% less, so that's dope. But we don't have that yet. So for now, we'll have to deal with HTP. I can't do hydrazine for a while still. So HTP is still my best bet. And I feel like RCS landing is the way to go because of the infinite ignitions and the, you know, ability to just kind of baby it all the way down to the landing rather than other situations that only have limited restarts. So let's go with polygon with 3 sides. Of course, it's rotated wrong. And then I guess we'll go with 800 millimeters because that matches the probe core here. And then vacuum delta V of 1150, but what's the TWR? See, the TWR is crap. Where's the moon? Moon. TWR is 0.3, is that right? Yeah, about 6 times Earth TWR. So the TWR obviously needs to be higher than that by quite a bit. Oh, I put the wrong engine on. That's the one I meant to do. Okay, that's a little better. And I'm thinking this is just for the final few hundred delta V. Something like that. Or even that. Okay, hold on. We gotta get other things in order first, like experiments and solar panels and landing legs. I'm getting ahead of myself thinking about Delta V. So, landing legs. This is literally the only option we have. These are way too big. That's a little better. And then you want to angle them out slightly. Like this. Beep, beep. And then you can land on a much more even surface. Now, here's the problem. The problem with lunar landings is there are some craters and hills, and if you're trying to land on the side of a steep hill, it often does not go well for you, especially if you have a tripod like this instead of 4 or more legs, because with only 3 legs, if you land with these 2 legs being the downhill legs, then you can see that the actual angle that we could handle is not very much here. You know, that's only what, a 15 degree maybe angle. So we actually want to move these up slightly, but you wouldn't want to hit that part, right? And then if we can add more weight to the bottom, we want to add more weight to the bottom. It's really tricky. So we're also going to want science. I'm not going to think about that quite yet. Communication. Of course, I'll need a little communotron here. Wait, why is that? I said local. Local rotation should be out that way. Weird. Doesn't seem to be working. Okay. Anyway, you gotta have it angled, right? Straight up just looks weird. And then... Okay, so then I will remove the communication from inside that. Configure experiments. Alright, let's see what experiments we can plop in here. So, we want things that are light. Though, a couple kilograms is not going to make a huge difference. But I don't know about the 15 kilogram. The magnetometer does... Magnetometer? Magnetometer. Wow, those are 2 very different ways to say that. We say thermometer. We say meter, not meter. Magnetometer. 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 That sounds the worst of all of them. Anyway, mass spectrometer is landed. 2 kilograms. I wish it would tell me in this menu. It'd be really nice if it told you the actual science value as well. I know we can get that from our thing here, but it's kind of a bit trickier. So, temperature scan. So temperature scan is 4.4. Surface sample would be great, but that's an actual sample. Pressure scan is 4.4. Planetary photography is not landed. Micrometeorite is not landed. Mass spectrometry, God, that's so hard to say, is the highest at 8.8 from a biome. Infrared is pretty low. EVA report is great, of course. Okay, so I think what we want are probably the mass spectrometer, the pressure scan, which is what, barometer? The telemetry is already in there. Temperature scan, which is the thermometer. And then, is there not one more that we saw? Radiation is cosmic ray science, but those are only in space. I mean, I guess I could just look in here. That's probably easier to skim through these options. Orbital perturbation needs to be in orbit, believe it or not. Micrometeorite, okay. Spectrometer we already got. Helium magnetometer. Magnetometer. Sorry, I'm gonna say that differently from now on. That's 25 kilograms though. I'm a little bit unsure about 25 kilogramerinos. Well, let's start with it in. If we're really hurting for delta V. Oh no, we don't want to do another science. Never mind. I'd prefer to not do another science. We could do the early TV camera, but I don't think it's worth the 5 kilograms for only one biome. I already have the mass spectrometer. And I don't know if I want to spend... for what is only going to be how much science? Science body information. So the moon landed is 4.0 multiplier, and Earth space high is 1.0 multiplier. So 4 times the space high number is what we'd get from landing. Okay, that's 25 science if we put a magnetic scan on this. That's a decent amount of science points. Okay, we'll leave the magnetic scan for now. All right, so like we said, to deorbit and slow down, we're gonna need 1.73K. So I need like a 2000 delta V situation. If we're orbiting at 50 kilometers, our speed is gonna be 1656. So I need something with about that much delta V to kill all of our horizontal velocity. It's not perfectly efficient, but it's at least an idea. Let's see what happens if we throw on a Altair 2. Okay, that's not bad. That's in the ballpark of what we need. 1345. What about an Antares 2? How much better is that than an Antares 1? The ISP is way higher. And the dry mass is less than 10%. So was that one. In fact, I'm not sure which has a worse dry mass. The math is hard to do in my head. I almost feel like this one's worse, but I could be slightly off. That is too much delta V. And so is that. So the Altair 2 is my best bet if I want a solid rocket slowdown situation. How do I feel about this? What are my other options, though? Like, we got nothing. In the way of engines, The only thing I can do is an AJ10 mid. An AJ10 mid. Oh, by the way, we need RCS thrusters on this bad boy. What variety do I need? So, let's see. I like that. I don't know. I feel like these are inefficient because it's a triangle. And with the way mech jab is going to work, we're always going to be firing more thrusters than we need. Like, we're going to fire this one, and this one, and this one to point in that direction. And I don't think it actually knows how to fire those. So my triangle idea might be shot in the foot. I might need a circle to put RCS stuff on. Because I'm worried that it's not gonna work right. Does that make sense? I think you guys get what I'm saying. Let's see. I mean, see, like, it thinks it can do that, but is it actually gonna fire those with the right amounts to do that way? I'm not totally confident that it will. I guess we'll just have to test it. Because this could work. This could work. And we'd probably want a scale of, I don't know, 0.2. And do they need to be three-way to provide ullage, potentially, for a stage underneath them? So we'll go 0.2 on the scale. We'll go three-way thruster of that variety, so that we can stay angled properly. And how much do they actually... Thruster power, 887 newtons. Wait, what? And these are only 0.003 newtons? That doesn't sound right. Well, they're not on HTP, so that was part of the problem. But even when they are... That's saying we have a TWR of 1.6. Translation forward. It says they have a thrust of 0.24. And they have a thrust of 0.22 each, so I don't know where it's getting 0.24. What is this? There we go. 0.03 kilonewtons. Because triple 0.008. Oh, that's kilonewtons. This is just measuring newtons. That's why. Okay. I was gonna say, I'm like, that's not adding up. Okay, so these are 9 newtons apiece, which gets me a TWR of 0.05. Okay, that all sounds more accurate. So this is like way more powerful than those little dudes. But they also provide attitude control. All right, so that's looking good. Let's extend that. Communication, antenna planning. You're probably gonna be tech level 2, I'm guessing. Is that lighter? Tech level 2 is a lot lighter. I still don't understand why tech level 3 is so much more. Oh, tech level 3 allows you to go into stuff like S-band. Okay, but if you're not in S-band. I mean, do we want to try S-band? What are the... let's see, let's say 600 millimeters. 5.2 kilobits. Can we be connected at 20 dBm? Okay, so S-band. Let's see. S 20 dBm is 20.3 watts. 645 BPS at 600 millimeters. Okay, and then what if we were on the UHF band at tech level 2? And then we wanted to plan for connecting to one of these 50s like Canberra. Then we would need 34 dBm, 33 dBm to be safe. And that's 27 watts and 310 kilograms. And that's 321 kilograms. So this is heavier. But it doesn't need as much power? It's actually tricky. I think I'd rather go for the slightly more power hungry, heavier, or lighter, so that I can add more solar panels on the UHF side of things. Because this can reach the DSS just fine. Huh. About the same wattage? I don't know. I don't know which one to do. But it weighs 10 kilograms less? That seems like a better idea. And we'll give it one more dB so we can even go to 34. So we're still a bit safer there. One more rate having available. Okay, so that is transmission covered. I basically just want to see if this thing can land, you know what I mean? So then we'll isogrid. Fill with high pressure AJ10 stuff. And then how much do we need? What did we say? We needed about 1700 delta V. That should be about right. So theoretically, this thing can land on the moon. Maybe. Let's try it. I'm just gonna call it Moonlander for now, and we're gonna save it, and we're gonna simulate it. Start in orbit around the moon at 50 km. Go ahead and simulate part failures. Let's see how this goes. Okay. We are around the moon. I have no... Okay, I have avionics. I was like, what? I have no avionics? The Earth is over there, and we are not in contact with the Earth. So we shall fast forward till we can see the Earth. Perfect. We have the contact with the Earth. We point in the retrograde direction, and it is doing all sorts of funky things. Oh, because my throttle's all the way up. Okay, well that explains that problem. Okay. Point retrograde. Turn off this ascent guidance stuff. Settle the propellants. I need to turn off fore aft on these. See, this is okay. This is the thing that's really annoying, though. I don't want to turn off fore aft because I need H to do that. I need to settle the propellants with those. But then if I turn on fore aft, then the throttle is controlling them, which is what I don't want. So I don't totally understand why this is how MechJeb settings work. Because I want H to control it, and I want Z to not control it. Right now, I'm not touching the keyboard. It's just that the throttle's up. Anyway. But then it cuts off once there's a real engine going, so it's a little weird. But yeah, we're going to use all this delta V to slow down. And can this throttle down at all? I don't think it can. Yeah, I don't think it can. Whoa! Okay. Kill the rotation, please. Get rid of that thing. Fling that off into the moon somewhere. Kill the rotation. Goodness. What a mess. Well, this is a good worst case scenario practice, but I don't actually know if we're going to be able to kill the rotation by the time we need to land. This is bad. 29 kilometers. 27 kilometers. No! Surface. Fell up? I don't know what this all means. Surface velocity. Oh, prograde. Surface velocity minus. No, plus. No, minus. Ah! Panic! I think we're screwed. This is not good. Kaboom. Alright, we kaboomed it. Let's try this again. Revert to launch. The problem is it gimbaled so hard there at the end because I think we hit 0. So what we need is like the gimbal limit to be like 1%. And then it won't have quite as much power to totally wonk us up there at the end. Alright, orbital retrograde. Let's move to where we actually have control of the vessel. Oh, too much. Too much. There we go. Okay. So now we give it a minute to point retro. By the way, the triangular things do seem to be working. I do think we've introduced inefficiencies to it, but most of our power, or I should say fuel, is going to go towards, what's it called? You know, this engine right here, not the deceleration. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this off, actually. That was a bad idea. Okay, I'm just going to watch my orbital speed, and when it gets close to 0, I'm just going to turn it off. Right about now. Okay. And we do have more ignitions remaining. So we could put a little bit more fuel into this and use it a second time. The ignition chance is low though. That's a pretty big failure chance, 6% failure. But I could use it one more time as we get closer, you know, to the impact time is 3 minutes. So if we like fast forward here about a minute, You know, I could get that 85 delta V back. Maybe at 30,000. And is there some sort of landing guidance? Oh boy. Land somewhere. Oh boy, this is gonna be good. All right, so we can settle the propellant. Did that just fail? Sure did. Okay, so now we're free. And it's doing all sorts of weird things. There we go. That's what we wanted. Delta V needed is too small. Something's not right here. Did I just wait too long to impact? Yeah, I think so. But this is certainly in the ballpark of possible. Okay. So why don't we... is it safe to rely on this AJ-10 for a second little burn to slow us down as we're approaching the planet, and then we land the final? Or should I just add more delta V to the RCS thruster? I mean, adding more to the RCS part gives us a much higher chance of mission success, because these don't fail. These have a 100% chance. So I think it's worth slapping a bit more delta V onto that. And we need 1656. So something like 1640 should be about perfect. I'm worried about the TWR on this, just isn't big enough. But we don't have a bigger one. You know, I could put two of them. Now there are two of them. I guess I hadn't really considered that. But we could get a much higher TWR if I just plop two of these guys down. And we're already 360 kilograms. What's another 10 kilograms? I mean, I say that. I know that's like kind of not funny, because another 10 kilograms is another 10 kilograms. It will cost us more fuel all the way down the rest of the rocket. But if it does what we need to do, then it does what we need to do. Something like this. And then that. These are just enabled from the start. The other option would be modular thrusters, but I think they'd be heavier. Like if I were to put modular thrusters on the side, like this, and I make them this kind, the one way. Like if I wanted them to be 800 kilonewtons, they just don't want to get that powerful, I don't think. There's 222 for 17 kilograms. Yeah, like they're way less efficient. So we're not really meant to use modular RCS that way, I don't think. What about that one? The BDB double. That's literally no better. It says double, but it's not actually double. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, that's just no good. No good. Okay, let's try this. Simulate moon. Should I go for a lower orbit as well? Because then I put more energy into the circularizing, and then I need less energy for landing. 1656 versus 1661. It's only 5 delta V different. But then I wouldn't have as much time falling towards the moon, right? So, I mean, basically, the best solution would be, as you're coming in for your burn to circularize at the moon, that would turn into your suicide burn to land on the moon, right? Like, that's what you actually want to do, rather than this, like, get into an orbit and then slow down. But the reason this is better in some ways is because you have time to decide when you want to do your deorbiting, which will then determine whether you have, you know, planet contact or not. It's like right there we have planetary vision. And so what I can do is retrograde. And we'll try this landing thing again. So now what if I say, settle the propellants, ignite that bad boy, stay pointed retrograde. Fast forward a few seconds because I'm impatient, and then I will cut the throttle as soon as that gets close to 0. Alright. So there we go. Go ahead and decouple here. And now we want... turn that off. And we need... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Land somewhere. Kill the rotation. Quick. Okay. And now we need to do surface up. No. Surface velocity minus. Let's see if it works. Whoa. Why are you warping so much? I guess we have a higher TWR now, so we might be okay. Oh boy. Might work. Well, that's loud and annoying. Holy cannolis. Sorry about that. I don't think there's anything you can do about that sound. But... oh my gosh. If you zoom out, it'll be quieter. I don't understand why it keeps trying to warp either, like, in between these moments. That's really funny. 700, 600 meters. 300 meters. Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. Meters. Oh man. What's happening? Are we not going down anymore? I think we needed a higher touchdown speed of like 1 meter a second. It's just hovering now. No! It needs to actually land. Oh my gosh. Frick. Well? Okay, this is progress. It landed. It might be upside down, but it landed. Also, why are these backwards? Like, why do the feet go out like that? I don't understand that. That feels wrong to me. What, in what world would they deploy out that way, but then the little feet would go out radially? I don't understand that part. But that is... yeah, and that's not even what they're showing here. Yeah, what's happening there? Spring rating? I forget which way you really want to do this. You don't want it to be very springy, you do want dampener. I mean, that worked. It was really loudly annoying, but it worked fine. It was there at the end. We didn't have enough attitude control to keep up with the horizontal changes, so maybe making these slightly larger would be a solution, like 0.24. Have a little bit more attitude control, and if I can put them all the way down, that gets me even slightly more. The other thing is worth checking is, do we get more attitude control by having them at the top? And I might actually. See, like our pitch moment, pitch and yaw are all around 0.06, 5766. Okay, what if I put these up here? We get 10, 10, and 9, 10. Okay, so I get a better moment when they're up at the top, actually, so that's good. So that'll provide a little bit more control. It's also kind of oh, you know what? That might have been part of the problem, though. Shoot. The fact that that's pointing down is part of why, when it was trying to correct itself, it was boosting up, and that was adding more vertical speed that these thrusters weren't counting on. I think that's what was happening there. So I think this would land a little better. I am still confused about what happened with the little landing feet. I don't know if that matters. If I turn off... Yeah. There's no easy way to do this. If I had 4-way symmetry, I could maybe make it work. But without 4-way symmetry, I can't really control it more than that. Okay. I didn't mean to delete the AJ10. I just wanted to move it away for a second, but I deleted it. So let's get that back in here. And go ahead and get an ISO grid, high pressure, AJ10 mid. Yeah, there's no upgrades for that until a long time from now. And it's really only a burn time upgrade. It doesn't really change much else. Maybe reliability goes up. Yeah, reliability goes up by a lot. But that's not, we're not gonna have access to that for a long time. Okay, so we wanted this to be tiny, first of all. And then we needed, how much delta V? $15, I lost it. 1661. So 1650 is perfect. Okay, let's try this again. Let's see if we can get a bit more of a... Let's go to like 50 degrees so that maybe we'll start without having to time warp. And the answer is... no. Where's the... I think that made it worse, not better. Okay, so if we want to land, we need retrograde. Settle propellants. Ignite engine. Throttle up. Stay retrograde. Fast forward a little bit here. Get ready to cut the throttle. Gimbal limit here should be much smaller. Alright, 200, 100. We'll cut it when it gets to about when the retrograde marker starts to move away from us quickly. So right there. That's the point to cut it. And then I'm just going to kill rotation here. Okay. And then I'm going to quick save. Test. I'm going to stage. And then I'm going to surface velocity minus. Now I'm going to wait. I'm going to stop hyperwarping. So if we were to pick target on map, I mean, can I just pick where I'm landing here? And then show landing predictions, show trajectory, camera trajectory. Ooh, I like that. Touchdown speed 1 meters a second. still don't know why they do that. Is that like a... No, it's not like a... It's not like they're freely spinning and it's a momentum thing. I don't know. I'm just gonna do the land somewhere and see if it can manage this. And then hopefully it does. Alright, we're getting there. 600 meters. We're gonna land at a slope of 4.4 degrees. Okay, this is where things went south last time. Okay, it's going a little better. We did it! We landed on the moon! What is anti-roll? There's so many things here, I just don't know what you're supposed to do with it. But hey, we did it. And then all the sciences are running, all sorts of data from the moon's surface. We're gonna get, what is that? 10, 23, 36, 56, 82 science from this. That's great. Okay, well, the slope could be a problem. And I forgot solar panels. But other than that, we're doing okay. Proof of concept. And we've now tried out the MechJeb auto lander. It's a little aggressive, like it's a little bit more wasteful with Delta V than I'd like there at the end. So I could try to I don't really know where the settings need to be. Because I don't want it to let these move in very far. I kind of want them to be stiff. But I don't know what exactly controls how stiff they are. Max safe speed. Oh, that's helpful. 3.53 meters a second. Okay. Anyway, let's get some solar panels on here. Now, because it's deep space probe, it will be able to go into hibernation, which is only 3 watts. So really, we just need power for the science, which means I don't need a lot of power, which means a few panels. I mean, these are probably too much even, you know, 16 watts a piece. I think we can go a little smaller. 8 watts a piece. This, when it's transmitting, does require 33 watts, so it'll slow down science a little bit, but that's okay. It can take a few months. I don't mind. And that keeps these lighter. Now, are these too light? Because remember, 1 kilogram is the minimum. So if I add 20 of them, we go from 67 to 89. So these are more than 1 kilogram apiece, which means we are good to go. And we'll put 3 of them on the top here. Okay, things are looking good. Now, what else do we need to do? Oh, the battery type. Can save some kilograms here. Okay. Alright, so then this thing just needs to get in orbit of the moon. Now I'm thinking what we're gonna want to do is probably use this stage to do both. The problem with that is then I need my moon periapsis to be in a place where I know that I have contact. Although MechJeb can do this whole thing. I don't need radio contact. MechJeb can figure it out. So I think we're okay. So that means we want this to be a bigger stage because it's kind of wasteful, I think, right now. So the moon injection delta V that we need is what? If so, a moon encounter is, sorry, I have this spreadsheet. Let me show you what I'm doing. So here, this is kind of something I was whipping up to see, is it cheaper to encounter the moon at its periapsis or at its apoapsis? And it's actually cheaper at the moon's apoapsis because the moon is going slower relative to how fast you will be going. That's what this number is right here. And that number then is the amount that you're kind of starting out at when you enter the moon's sphere of influence, and then you speed up more and more as you get closer to the moon. So if I were to type in like 40 kilometers here, then this is telling me the speed I'll be going at the moon's periapsis. So I need about 2500 delta V if I want to circularize and kill my horizontal velocity. So this would be kind of most of the way there. And I mean, at that point, we're getting really close to doing the suicide burn at the same time. So I need about 2480, 2500 delta V in this stage right here. So that right there, as long as we can position the periapsis to be on the near side of the moon, then we should be able to burn that in a way that works out the way we want. And I don't know what we want. Plain metal for that, tricolor for this, half stripe maybe. Sides. Gold metallic with white paint. I don't know. We can try that for now. Anyway, this is now something that I just need to be launched into a translunar injection. And it's 1500 kilograms, so that's not light. Oof. We do have the Locust, but that can only do 1500 kilograms to low Earth orbit. Not translunar injection. The translunar injection requires Earth 145, 145, 450. Translunar injection requires 3200 delta V on top of orbit. So that's no joke. So I need to get this thing 3200 delta V. Oh my gosh. That's so much. $3,200 at delta V. Okay, well, let's throw a decoupler on it and just see what we're working with here. ISO grid. The other problem is we're gonna need avionics at this point for just controlling a heavier thing. Throw that there, throw that there. And this will probably be the avionics for the whole craft. So, I mean, at this stage, I'm feeling like we just go ham on the RD-119. RD-119, my beloved. And just use that all the way down. It's RD-119s forever. So if we do that... Let's say this avionics is configured for early interplanetary. Let's just say it's 80 tons. I don't know, 500 kilojoules probably is good enough. I'll fix the sizes of these later. It doesn't really matter for right now. Right now we're just looking at delta V stuff. So we said we need about 3,200. Was that right? Checks notes, and yes, 3161. That is for the moon's apoapsis. No, 405 million. I had the wrong number. 3150 delta V is enough. Goodness. Basically the same thing. Right there. Okay, so that's enough delta V for translunar injection. So now if I can just get this into orbit, then we have enough delta V. Notice we are slowly working our way back towards reasonable. And now this part is of course staged wrong for whatever reason. Now I need... So I'm gonna need basically a total of that's 15K. Is what we're looking for here. What's the max burn time on this? 260 seconds. So if I were to get the full 260 out of it, that's what that would look like. And then beneath it, do I dare triple RD-119? Maybe. It's the best engine I've got by a long shot? Is that the word I'm looking for? Look, don't judge me. It's got an ignition chance of 99.77%, and the failure rate is already up to 98% reliable. So it's not crazy to do another one of these, even though I'm only getting 1500 delta V out of this stage. It's also only adding another 8 tons, which is not crazy. Now what engine should go beneath that? Well, we said 15K, so I still need a lot more. I still need 5,000 more. We still need a big fat LR87 stage, I think, is what we're talking about here. So like 2.7 meters, long AF kind of stage. So that would get me I need clamps. Give them the clamps. That would get me all the decoupling's wrong. That decoupler goes with that. That doesn't sound right. Wait, no, that's right. This one's just not fueled up. What's going on here? Do I need a hot stage? That one's there. Okay, I'm not understanding why this isn't... The launch rail counts as a ground support clamp. That's why I'm confused. Oh, maybe it doesn't if I haven't put on the base plate. Aha. There it is. There's your answer. Okay, so anyway, so we make this Big Daddy. What's the burn time? 137 seconds. Let's just go straight for max and see what happens. 137. Perfect. Hey, I mean, that alone is already almost what we need. And it's possible that if instead of crazy big fuel here, we instead add a couple algal 1Bs. And those are not not configurable, but we add 2 of these bad boys. I don't know why it keeps doing that to me. There we go. So let's say we did that, and then step 1 is fire the main engine, step 2 is release the clamps and fire the SRBs, step 3 is that. And then do we get more delta V by shortening this? Not really, but we also don't lose much either. I'm trying to think if we can get under that 100-ton. We're pretty close. I mean, we need like another 700 delta V, right? By our numbers. Because that's the translunar injection starting here. Yeah, so if I want that to get into orbit, we need 9,000 plus that, which is 15,200. Roughly. So I guess I still need about 1,000 delta V. Damn. That's rough. Is there a more efficient version of this that I will have anytime soon? Slightly. Starting to get a little worried about this whole plan. I need more boosters? I need like 4 of these? $14,560 versus, what if I only had 2 of them? $14,260. 2 more got me only 300 delta V. Yeah, I just don't think we can quite get there. Because at 12 meters, that's 120 seconds of burn. Oh, we're so close. Did lengthening any of these give me more? Well, these are maxed out at the 260. So that's a little iffy. But I could try a little bit further. I mean, we get a free 5 seconds, and then a few more seconds probably wouldn't kill anything. I mean, we're talking an extra 20 delta V on that stage. What about on this? What about on this one? You know what? Maybe the problem is this one. These have a reignition. And the ignition chance is really high, so that's not like a super risky thing. So this one, I'm not utilizing fully. I'm only utilizing it for the translunar, but it's only 110 seconds. So if I made this one longer, it's not actually adding that much delta V. It's only adding about 10 per 0.1 meters. What's this one add? 15 per. Interesting. But I probably don't want to go past 275, maybe. We'll do that. So we'll make those a little longer. And then this one, it's just not really adding much. The rocket equation. What about making the AJ-10 better in some way? Do I need it? Would it help me? Would it help me if it was a little worse? It would. So close. If I had better tanks, this is actually not an unreasonable question. How close are we to upgrading something in terms of weight? Like, when do I get the next tank structure? Because the next tank structure could do it alone. And I probably need to be done with this episode soon. This is the Moonlander Planner episode. We are getting 0 upgrades until Lunar Exploration Era Material Science. Then I get ISO-grid tank upgrade. If I wanted to research that, it is going to take 480 days because it's too far ahead of time. So that's probably a no-go. Avionics could be improved. I could maybe go for battery 3. That would save a few kilograms. This is just rough. Am I missing, like, a major component of how this works? I don't think so. I guess one thing I should do is min-max everything on this stage. Do we need the AJ-10? Does it have to be an AJ-10? Now that I'm realizing we don't need a reignition, should I be using the Agena instead? Because that gets an ISP of 285, but it's heavier. So maybe that's worse. Okay, here's a crazy thought. RDO 105. It has an, well, or a 119. Or a 0109, sorry. 0109. Has a great ISP. It's got a really high ignition chance. It's got a great ISP. I already said that. It's only a little bit heavier. And we don't need reignitions, because this is going to do the landing part. So maybe I should do this. And then we said we needed how much delta V to slow down at the moon? Shoot. I had 2461. All right, 2461. $24.61. Okay, we can definitely go smaller. $24.61. Okay, so there's the same amount of delta V, and we only weigh 1.1 tons. Oh, that's so much better. That is heaps better. Whole heaps. Interesting. Okay, so that then just needs to have a moon encounter. So we're going full Russian on this bad boy. And there we go. That alone fixed our numbers. Couple changes we'll need to make is this thing cannot handle enough weight. I wonder if I'm gonna need a third avionics. I don't know. Don't need an antenna. $130 tons. 500. Gives me 15,575. Whereas if I change to this, 15,454, 575. We got about 120 delta V out of this being a higher. Yeah, I think that'll pay off actually. So we'll make that the higher tier avionics. So this one will finish orbit with one burn, and then the next burn will be translunar injection. So that means we're also going to need RCS on this stage. These 4 stages will get us to orbit. Do I have a heavier lifter? No. LR-87 has the most thrust of anything. Oop, wait. Take that back. The RD-111. Look at that purchase entry cost though. 150 grand for me to buy this thing. Oh my god. It also has a lot better of an ISP. The problem with it is it only has 110 burn time. But still, the TWR is through the roof at 96 ASL. We could go full Russian. Basically everything on this crap. We should launch this from Russia because other than the LR-87s, which I'm literally considering replacing with another Russian engine. That'd be funny. Why is that not snapping? It's because it's snapping to this node. It's super annoying. Okay, just for kicks. We put that on there and we go with the RD-111. Oh, we get even more delta V. It's hard to say no to, but I don't think I can afford it. I think it'd be cheaper to build a whole new launch complex for the LR-87 version. I'm not even kidding. I think this is actually cheaper. And then the next question is, are we getting any delta V from this whole mess? I don't know if we are. 119. RD119. What did I mess up? Our delta V is wrong. That's what I messed up. There we go. 15575. So what if I took out one of these RD119 stages? We just skipped it entirely. It does hurt our bottom line by a bit. I mean, would it be more effective for me to have a clustered RD119 stage? Probably not. This thing is a monster. An absolute monster. Look at this. Look at how tall it is. 37 meters. I mean, even at our heavy satellites, we're 30% too heavy and 2 meters too tall. Though I have not put any effort into shaping this at all. I mean, we're just trying to get the delta V right. So this is enough delta V. It's actually slightly more than we need. Which makes me feel like we could shave off somewhere and save something. Is that, what's the diameter on this? The nice thing about having tanks that are of the same diameter is you can kind of like shorten them to see which one actually is the most effective to shorten in terms of DV. If you have like 100 extra DV that you don't need, figuring out which one to shorten. So like I lost 16 delta V by shortening that bad boy. We lose 18 delta V by shortening that bad boy. And we only lose 12 delta V by shortening this one, and this one is obviously the most, this is even huger diameter. So this is the one we should shorten by quite a bit because we have more delta V than we need. Which leads me to wonder if we even need this many, like let's go down to 10 meters and let's go down to 2 algols. And see, that's like 15 grand right there. So I think we're gonna start trying to, I might work on the shaping of this, but we're gonna test this in the next run. So it'll be like, boom, that goes off. This will separate somewhere after about 1.5 minutes. That will burn for 270 seconds in the next. This might be too long to get to orbit though. We'll see. And then we need, just before I forget, let me throw RCS onto this stage. I should probably put it at the top, otherwise it looks weird because it's so far away from the RCS fuel. But scale will go to like 0.2. And then I just need a high pressure isogrid tank. That's very, very thin. Like probably 20 millimeters is more than enough. And then these guys are HTP. And then this guy is HTP. Okay. So we'll work on this in the next episode. I'm excited for it. We might be able to squeak it in under 100 tons, which would be really exciting if we can. Maybe we could save somewhere. I've gone pretty efficient, but there might be a place we can scrape out a few more. Well, here, this alone, I can change this down to 100 tons and 500 kilojoules. or even 400 kilojoules. Save another half a kilogram. And that gets me another 70 delta V. So, like, I think we might be able to get in under 100 tons. But I mean, just for kicks. Get your kicks at Route 66. Let's just try flying this. I already know that we're gonna have attitude control problems. But we gotta practice. And you guys would be sad if we did a whole thing. A whole episode without any of this. I didn't mean to start in orbit. How did that... Did I not uncheck start in orbit? I thought I did. Did it change? Okay, I'm just trying to see if I'm going crazy. I had the moon selected and I had a circular orbit. So maybe I unchecked circular. That's what happened. And I thought I had unchecked start in orbit. I see. I get it now. Because you can't start not in orbit at the moon. There's no launch pads on the moon, sadly. All right, so we've decided our last stage is 3, and that's our early shutoff stage. So according to this, that doesn't sound right. Oh, I'm sorry. We need an apoapsis of 400 million. Okay, yeah, there we go. See, we don't have enough delta V. Bummer. But yeah, let's see what happens. I don't really know what's gonna happen here, but let's just see what it does. Well, that's not what I expected. Ha! What just happened? The algals, like, split me in half. Oh my gosh. We were bisected by our own algals. That's not something you look for every day. Did something go wrong with the launch clamps? Okay, I don't know what that... I think it's because that little piece was conflicting with the launch rails or something. But let's see how this goes. Probably not great. Like I said, we didn't do interstage fairings. We didn't do anything for our atmospheric drag purposes. So we're gonna be getting a lot of drag here. It should just tear off. If things were accurate. There's no way this would. Alright, solids are burning out. And they'll pop off. Oh, come on. They're so aggressive. They're so aggressive. Rude. All right. A couple more simulations just for fun, and then we'll call it an episode. You know, there's a trick. Put them a couple degrees off, and then when they fly off, they won't hit you. Or a better trick, because that just looks weird, is to put them a couple degrees off prograde. And then on top of that, you can shift them down so that way they're more, the torque force from the decoupler also pushes the top away. So hopefully that does enough to keep them from ruining me. And then I'd also like for this thing to be slightly back so we don't bump into that. And then I'd like for this whole thing to be at a reasonable level. All right, here we go. Small improvements. One step at a time. Okay. Engage autopilot. Nope. Last stage 3. Yeah, if I do 4, we don't have enough. So it's got to be 3. What if I set a coast stage? Coast after 5. Does that give it more leeway? Target unreachable. What if I tell you I want a 60-second coast? 33:15. 33:46. So I think my issue is I have too slow of thrust, not too much. Coast stages help when you have too high of a TWR. All right. Let's see what happens this time. Things are looking slightly better. Rockets are burning out. Pop off any moment. Hopefully not fly directly into me this time. No, no. Okay, well, that barely worked. If I change the lead time here, they'll drop off a little faster, like if we go 0.05. And now we are going to get into orbit, but we're not going to have enough delta V for our translunar injection. At least I think that's what's going to happen. Oh, wow. Look at our apoapsis. Yeah, see, this is a huge problem. This second stage needs to have a higher thrust. This is part of the problem. We have a really inefficient launch. Okay, so we need a different motor for that second stage, one with a higher thrust. I love the RD-119, but 100 kilonewtons isn't doing it. So what do we have that's better than 100 kilonewtons? But ideally still has a high ISP. Maybe the LR91? 334, 310, it's reasonable. Yeah, maybe the LR91 is our best bet for that second stage. The 105. Comparison here. Ooh. The 105 is better than the LR91. Oh, it needs ground support clamps. Never mind. That always gets me. The Juno. What's this guy? 200 kilonewtons at 304. Oh, it needs high pressure tanks though. Yeah, that's probably not great for Delta V compared to the LR91. All right, let's try switching out these guys. And the burn time versus thrust is a lot higher, so I probably won't even need to max this out. All right, remove fill for LR91. I need these to be slightly bigger. Can't see the stupid things. Okay, so now to get this, I can just make this a little bit longer. And we should be able to get up to the 15. What was I at before? I don't know, but if I go to 271 seconds on this guy, oh my, that's a much larger tank. Holy crap. Let's go to the 2.7 meters. Wow, this tank is so much less dense. I don't know if it's the, I guess RP-1 is less dense than UDMH or something. Oh no, I'm stupid, sorry. It's just because this is, the fuel flow on the 91 is so much higher that 270 seconds of this thing thrusting is way more fuel than 270 seconds of this one. Anyway, let's try this. With a much stronger second stage that can hopefully propel us into a better spot to burn those last 300 seconds. Okay, this is the last simulation for this video. I gotta go after this. I am loving RP-1. I cannot get enough of this game. So I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. I know sometimes, you know, we don't actually get much done. We're just planning. We're just experimenting the whole time. But it's really fun for me. All right, last stage 3. No coasting, is that right? I think that's right. Okay. According to this, we might not need the third stage at all, but of course there's all the gravity losses and whatnot. We'll see what happens. Uh-oh. I didn't consider how much weight we added. Yeah. It'll catch itself soon. There we go. Caught itself. Alright, I said that was going to be the last launch, but I lied. That doesn't count. That doesn't count. Totally doesn't count. We need this guy to configure to be 118. Alright, try again. I feel like I'm doing something very wrong. I mean, I maybe should have planned from the beginning for a suicide burn straight into the moon. But even then, we would still need the same setup where we have like an engine for most of the burn and then generic thrusters for the final. So that seems pretty reasonable no matter how I do it. I maybe am giving too much delta V for those last two pieces. And I should try to combine it better. Alright, there we go. Let's see if our new solids drop time results in these stupid algals not trying to murder me. No, they still murdered me. Oh my gosh. What is going on? I'm turning off drop solids early at this point. I'm just going to let them burn out. Clearly, they still have enough thrust, even at that point, to completely ruin me. So, we're not dropping solids early. And then they'll fall away. At least that's the hope. There we go. That's what I like to see. Okay, so then we've got another 30 seconds here. Now for the LR10. LR10. 91? What is this? 91. Oh this is the one with the ultra gimbal. Slow that down a bit there. Okay, now we'll see what we get. We're ending with 3000 delta V. Our final apoapsis is climbing. The more that goes above 145, the more inefficient our launch curve is. So I do think we're gonna get, yeah. It's because these RD stages are so... I don't know why it does this. Not seem to just settle down. Hybrid controller? No, that seems to mess up too. They both seem to be incapable of doing the RD-119 properly. Alright, and then the final one we burn for 46 seconds. And then we burn out. And I mean, 2981. What did we need? 3200? Yeah, 3150. So I'm about 150 delta V short. That's it. So we're really close with this. We're really close. All right, well, we are going to call it a video there. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next episode.